Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter.
Greetings, everybody. Hello, this is Patricia A. Murray. The bus just went by. Sorry about that. This is live from Durham, North Carolina. This is TV Skywriter. It's called TV Skywriter because the Durham Skywriter, which is Durham's online community paper, is my online community paper for Durham NC. TV Skywriter is where I introduce you to wonderful people that you should know. And the wonderful person here in my, what I call my home studio, is Annette Love, Minister Annette Love. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I can't remember how we met.
Actually,
we met online, sort of, on the phone.
Yeah, someone that you know that I've come to know recommended that I give you a call.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
And we talked for a while. This concept, the power of forgiveness, it's a beautiful concept, but it's confusing.
Yeah, for some it is, because we have some people are not able to forgive. Mm-hmm. So even with the power of forgiveness, there's also unforgiveness too. Mm-hmm. So we recognize both of them.
Well, I want to start with that horrible murder in South Carolina, in Charleston, where we all know the story, that the young white man visiting a black church, 9 people were killed. They were open to him. They treated him well, and he killed them anyway. And here's the part that I consider the most controversial, that they forgave him. And I don't know where that's coming from. I know it comes from their Christian hearts. I know that.
Yes.
I know that intellectually.
Yes, yes.
But I know a lot of people are like, well, how could they forgive him? And I just want to ask you, how could they forgive? How could the family members of these 9 people who got killed, I know they're all probably beautiful Christians, but how could they forgive that man for doing that?
Well, I'm trying to get people to know that forgiveness is a part of life. Mm-hmm. And whenever I heard the story about them willing to forgive,
that's so quickly.
And yeah, because we're not promised the next day or even the next hour.
Okay.
So and even the Bible tells us that if we don't forgive, our Father will not forgive us. And a lot of people are not spiritual, a lot of mm-hmm. people are not religious, mm-hmm. but it will take faith, some mm-hmm. type of faith and some type of belief that to begin to say, okay, I'm going to have to forgive. And the story about the Charleston thing mm-hmm. that I loved so much was the fact that when one of the family members was standing in front of the young man,
I don't even know if I could do that.
She said, every fiber in my being is hurting mm-hmm. and I'm angry, but I forgive you.
Okay.
And I said, wow, that's powerful. And then when she went a little further and she mm-hmm. said, I don't want to be around. She said, but Lord have mercy on your soul.
I remember that one. Yeah, she said she probably wouldn't be around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because she wouldn't be living that long.
Right.
Okay, maybe we should back this up and have you define forgiveness. Because like on Facebook, people go back and forth on Facebook. I wouldn't have said that or I wouldn't have done that. And a lot of people were saying that they felt that forgiveness meant, oh, that's all right. No. I don't think that's what it means, but I'm not sure. Why don't you explain that?
No, a lot of people would probably think that, that they're excusing the person that's caused the harm, but that's not the case. Really, forgiveness is to bring you peace. Yes, I'm going to forgive you. I'm not going to forget the fact that you've murdered my loved one.
So what are you really saying when you're saying, I forgive you? I mean, what if you had to put it another way? If it doesn't mean that's okay, then what does it mean? What are you saying, in other words?
I'm saying that, okay, I'm not excusing you for what you did, because yes, you did murder my loved one, but because I need peace and I need to be able to move on, then I'm giving you a gift, because forgiveness is like a gift that you give somebody. Yeah. So I'm going to move on, because in other things, once you allow people to control you and situations control you, How can you live at peace? How can you be
That's true.
calm? How can you live at peace? So I'm just going to give you that because I need that for myself.
Okay, so it's a gift, but your goal is to help yourself and not to help the other person?
The goal is to help yourself. They're going to have to deal with their consequences. And see, another thing about this is they don't understand how you're even able to say, I'm going to forgive you.
I can imagine that. Well, I don't know about this, the fellow, I don't even want to say his name. I don't know how he's feeling about it. I'm thinking he might be confused.
He's probably confused, because I'm thinking, I've killed all of these people, but yet somebody is saying to me, I forgive you.
That's probably not what he wanted, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I get some of these murderers mixed up, but I think he was one of many who've been trying to start a race war. They've been trying to start a race war since probably even before Manson. But I know he was trying to start a race war. That was 1968. I remember those murders out in California.
Right.
And he was trying to start a race, and I read the details, just convoluted, stupid. And other murderers through times, these times have been trying to start these race wars. And I guess here it is, 2015, and this guy's trying again to get this thing going, this race war. And these black people turn around and say, I forgive you, and it's just messing up this whole thing, isn't it?
But you know what? I kind of look back over time with us as being black, because we are a strong race of people. We forgot that, just how strong and powerful we are. And I actually did a sermon not too long ago, and it's called Grace. And I used look back, look forward, and look around. And I used that because, and I thought about the people in Charleston. I said that they had to look back from where they came from, because we relied on one another. We were strong in everything that we do as a family. And then they had to look around and say, you know what? Times has changed, but I'm still holding on to where I've come from, because that's what gives us strength. And looking forward will allow us to offer this forgiveness, because I was raised like that. That's what I've learned. And so I'm going to continue that path.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So,
but another thing, if they had started speaking out against integration and start talking against white people and getting real hateful and real ugly, then they would also be dishonoring their loved ones, because that's probably not what they taught them.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Look back from where you came from. And so, and that's to us as a race, period. If we can just remember that, we've got a lot of strength and power from where we came from, our ancestors. And that will help us along the way a lot.
I think we still need it.
Yes,
we've got a little ways to go. And I'm not just talking about black people.
That's true.
People in general.
Yes.
Have a long way to go.
Yes.
There's a lot of, there needs to be a lot more introspection, I think.
Yes.
A lot of people. I want to learn about you. So who is Annette Love?
Well, let's see. I was raised in a small town in North Carolina, Rayford.
Okay.
Raised by a lot of strong black women. We didn't have very many men in the family. So they made us work hard. Family was very important. And once I left there, we moved to Durham, been here since 1974.
Wow, you like Durham?
Yeah, Durham is home for me. Durham is home for me. And because of my background, I joined the church here in Durham, Northside Baptist Church.
Okay.
Been there since 1976.
Whoa.
And still there.
Well, what do you like about that church?
It's a small church, and I like small churches because it's more personable. You get to know people. You know when people are not there, You begin to miss them, because I think it's like the body of Christ is one. And so when one person is missing, you feel the loss. Yes, yes. So, and I love that church. I love working in it. I love the people there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do in that church? You said that you don't lead that church.
I don't.
You don't lead.
No, I'm one of the ministers there. One of the associate ministers there. I used to usher. Used to sing on the choir, but now I do mostly ministry. Because ministry is very important to me. I always say that when we are in a hard time, in a hard situation, the church is someplace people should find comfort.
Right.
In going. So, but I love ministry.
See, I'm glad you told us all that, because I like to watch talk shows naturally, of course, right? It's kind of like watching an industry standard there. So I like to learn by watching talk shows. And lately I've been watching shows on, I guess you'd say, the different intersection of religion, Islam, Christianity, and, well, atheism is not a religion, but this particular host, of one of the shows I watch is an atheist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it's just interesting to hear different people's point of view. And now these shows are from England. This particular show I'm talking about, where they talk about the big question, they call it. And they have in the audience, they look like they handpick their audience.
Okay.
Because they're like, I have a question. And they state it so well, And they have people, again, Christians, Muslims, atheists,
right,
and maybe even others, I don't know. But it seems that there is this accepted conclusion among some people in England, and maybe in America too, that as you become more modernized, educated, sophisticated, you don't really need religion, and that people feel, I know you're looking me up, but no, I'm getting the sense that that for some people, not believing in God is the sign or a byproduct of becoming more modern and sophisticated in this world. And I think it's an odd thing to think. That's just me. I was, about Christian. Okay. I think it's fine if they feel that way. I'm not going to argue.
Right.
I wouldn't argue if they pick a fight with me. But I just want to know your feeling on that. And I hear some young people feeling that way too, that religion is a crutch. It's a sign of weakness. If you were more educated and sophisticated, you wouldn't need that guy in the sky. So what do you think about all that?
Well, it's just like everything else. There's always going to be a difference and stuff like that. But personally, it was something that I was raised on, and I needed in my life because it's something positive. It can become as modern as it wants to become, but I'm going to rely on my faith. I'm going to rely on the word. I'm going to seek the Spirit, and I know, like you, people can believe what they want and do, and I'm not going to argue with them either, but I pray that the life that I lead will inspire and want people to know, well, why are you like that? Where does that come from? Where does that come from? Yeah. I said, I'm high, but I'm high on the Spirit. I love God because it's positive. And to me, He's shown Himself to me in so many ways, physically, health-wise, and things like that. So, modern is okay, but I'm going to go with what I already know. Okay.
I have to ask you that because I think it's fascinating to hear them talk the way they do, that somehow being modern and thinking for yourself means somehow moving away from God. Well, I mean, they don't even acknowledge God. I mean, I don't even want to say that they're leaving God. I mean, they just don't
acknowledge it.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say don't acknowledge it because they honestly don't believe anybody's up there.
Well, maybe they ask themselves, where did I come from? How was I?
Well, they believe probably some, they would have a scientific theory. And some people don't think that you can be a Christian and a modern person or believe in science and the Bible at the same time. I think it's totally possible.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, now, as a person, I have to say, my professional life, most of my professional life, I've been a proofreader, an editor, and a writer. So I would never say that I believe any document written by man, word for word, especially when it's been translated
several
by
times.
Questionable people throughout the centuries. The lessons are still there.
Yes, they are.
So somebody got on the bus once. I was in Chicago, my hometown, and I guess the person was proselytizing to me, I guess. And they were, are you Christian? I said, yes. Do you believe in the Bible? I said, yes. Said, do you believe the Bible? Do you believe every word in the Bible? And I told her, just like I said to you, I said, I don't think any document, because I've worked at law firms where I've seen miraculous makeovers by word. The people who have been transformed from murderers, accused murderers, to lovely, delicate flowers.
Yes.
So I know the power of words. And I told the lady, I said, I don't think there's any document that any man has written that could possibly be word for word truth when translated from culture to culture for millennia. And I said, but, you know, and she didn't know what to make of that. She moved to another seat. But still, I think that you can learn the lessons. You know, they don't have to be word for word true.
That's true.
You know, and it could be maybe Jesus was not exactly looking and saying the things that we're taught that he appeared to be and said, but still the teachings are there. I think it's good enough for me, you know.
Absolutely. And if you even read scripture, you and I could read the same scripture, but we may interpret it differently. Because you've got to really dig into it. You've got to really say, well, what is really being said here?
Exactly.
Yes.
Because you can read things in, you know, modern things in English. You can actually take a phrase, like, for example, I visited Japan, in the 1981. And I remember when I went back to USA, I had a conversation with a young white guy. I was young, I was in my 20s. And young white guy had also enjoyed a few weeks in Japan. We were comparing notes, we were talking about Japan. And he said, wow, Japanese culture is awesome. He says, because once you get a job, you have a job for life. And I said, yeah, it used to be that way in this country too. And he thought about it, and he realized he was talking to a black person, and he turned beet red. I mean, it used to be true that you had a job for life here, but we interpret it in two different ways.
That's right.
You know, and I think it's fascinating.
I was about to say, it's good. It's good when you have your opinion, your interpretation, and someone else's, and it's theirs. And then it will give you something to think about and ponder over.
That's why I kind of hate that here in the States, lose my voice, that we argue so much. I hate the fact that, unlike with these very polite, well-mannered British shows where they throw around all these ideas and explore these concepts, I kind of wish we could do that, because it seems that we're encouraged to argue and to throw names around, and you can't learn from others if all you're doing is arguing.
And you know, that's the beauty of being different, because we have differences of opinions, and just, can you imagine us all thinking alike, doing everything alike? That would be boring. But
that would be Japan. I shouldn't say that. That was terrible. They don't all think exactly the same. There are quite a few rebels in Japan even. But they are taught. I had some Japanese friends who told me that in Japan, what is that game, whack-a-mole? If you stick up, if you're different, you'll get whacked down. Because the important thing, at least in Japan back in the 80s, when I was there, I was told that it's very important to be the same. And in fact, they said the goal of conversation in Japan is to come to an agreement. And that's cool. But I was told that being different is not really valued so much. But it might be different now because there's so many different types of people living in Japan over the past few decades. More people have moved in. But I was told that is kind of like the basis of their society. They're used to thinking of themselves as all pretty much related and pretty much all the same. And it really hit home when I was doing some shopping in Japan. I was looking for some skin lotion. And it really hit me. Because in USA, you go to Walgreens, Walmart, whatever, and you see, your lotion and your dry skin, extra dry, and all these different types of lotion. And in Japan, there's like only one pH. There's no extra dry or extra anything. Nothing for curly hair or kinky hair or straight hair. You don't worry about that. And I walked up and down the aisles, and I just looked. And I said, "Wow, this is wild. This is really, really wild." The sameness of the culture.
It was boring.
Well, I think if I were Japanese, if I were a rebel, I think it would frustrate me. But I think if you fit in with their culture very neatly, it would be very comforting in a way that you don't have to worry about anything different.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true.
But in USA,
no.
And that might be why a lot of people are saying that we're losing our country and they're taking our country over, because certain people are used to their opinions.
Well, we allow everybody to come here and to take over businesses and have all these businesses and train people. I don't want to get into this, but I always think, I said, we're bringing all these foreign people over here to train.
Oh, you mean Americans are training them?
Yeah, and then they're going back over there and using their training against us and stuff like that.
Sometimes they're using the training to help their folks.
That's true. That's true.
Like King Sunny Ade, he's a Nigerian musician who took a couple of decades off of his recording career to copy the system that we use here in the States to pay, I guess, I don't know what the word is, ASCAP and BMI. Have you heard of that? That's when you're a musician, you put out CDs, you get paid for your work. Because they're playing your music in different places, including the radio, and you should get paid. If you are enjoying your music, you should get paid.
Yeah, you should.
But in Nigeria and maybe other countries in Africa, they play your music, you don't get paid. They just enjoy your music, and that's it. So he wanted to make sure that the Nigerian musicians benefit the way the American musicians. So sometimes they get their training here, or they learn here, and they take it back and do great things.
That's true. That's true.
And there are some people, I guess, they've gotten training and then used it
against. Yes.
I guess. Yeah, I know you're right. But knowledge is for everyone. I have no problem with people gaining knowledge.
Me either, because it helps. It'll help. And that's one thing about me. I like to get as much as I can on various issues that are going on in the world, because people need to be informed. We need to be informed. We need to be more proactive, so that's one of my goals, especially in ministry, is to get the church on board, to get you up to speed, because you're kind of behind. Some churches pick and choose what they want to say, what they want to do, but we need to do as much as possible.
Would you say that most of I don't know the politics behind our local churches, and I don't know if I should even broach the subject, but I know in Chicago, sometimes they tell the ministers what to say on Sunday, if there's certain things that they want.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Well,
am I getting too political? I'm sorry.
I cannot be there because they cannot tell me what to say. Because I am not going to rely on you to give me a message for the people. That's not
good. I appreciate that. I really do.
No.
I want to talk about some of your work that you've done. I have 3 organizations here that you have done work with in the past and also currently. The Durham Crisis Response Center. Are you still on their advisory board, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay. North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and an organization I'm more familiar with, a Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent So what do you do with those three organizations and why?
Well, Durham Crisis Response Center is it is for women that's been in a domestic violence situation. And because I too am a survivor of domestic violence, I wanted to find some place where I could get educated about it, training. So I went through them and got at least 40 hours worth of training so that I could be an advocate for those women and men when it comes to domestic violence. And I've been doing that, or had been doing it for 15 years.
Wow. What do you get out of it?
The fact that I'm helping someone else, because when I was in it, I didn't know who to go to, what was out there. And so I wanted to familiarize myself with the organization or an organization that I could pass along to someone else that was in the same situation and they have been in.
But from what I know about what they do, as soon as a woman has been identified as a survivor, they're right with her in terms of not telling her, but encouraging her to prosecute and to be with her every step of the way, so she's not alone.
That's right.
In the courtroom or hospital bed or wherever.
Yeah, we used to. Well, we'd go out once we find a victim or something. We used to go where they were and have conversations with them. Go to the hospital. You could be a hospital respondent. You could be just a telephone responder, be someone to answer the phone. You could be they have legal services. They do have a shelter, which is protected. So they offer a lot of things, and people need to take advantage of it. And when I'm out there, I don't mind asking. I would ask businesses if they had another house that they want to donate, because the shelter stays full. And you know, with
that's
women,
actually bad news.
With women, they bring their children.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem in asking some of these investors in Durham, do you have a house that you want to just, donate?
That sounds good. So would the family live in there forever, or is it like the International Hospitality Network where you're only there for like a year or so?
You're there for a certain period of time. And and while we're doing this, once you're in the shelter, it's very important that your safety is important, and you have to remember that. And so do not disclose where you're located, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, because the guy would call her on the cell phone begging for forgiveness and forgiving. He said, I'll treat you right, baby, from now on. I love you. And then before you know it, they're back.
They're back.
But once the location's compromised, doesn't that hurt the other women? Now they know where the shelter is.
Now they know where the shelter is. We have, police are,
Yeah. That's good. Do you think most women are able to leave in really bad domestic violence situations? Or do you think the education of the public has finally hit home where women are now thinking of alternatives to staying in a bad situation?
A woman would stay for various reasons. A lot of them is financial, and a lot of it is the fact that they don't have family. And so when they become dependent on that abuser, then they feel stuck.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
They feel very stuck.
And sometimes they isolate them, don't they?
They isolate them. I was that way. Isolated me. And they're very cunning. They abuse you, then they come back, I'm sorry, and trying to give you the world and offer you the world, and all you want is for them to stop. And but
that's wild. That was really wild. I worked with a woman who had escaped, and what she did, her husband did not allow her. Well, I'm trying to think, was she working? He was working, she could not work. Right. So he had her to stay home. They had children. He would allow her a little allowance. So she was saving her allowance. And one day, and she said she could not tell her kids because she knew they would accidentally tattle.
Oh, yeah.
So what she did, she was saving her pennies, with dollars, whatever he was giving her. And she said she didn't know how to drive or anything. But one day she went out and bought a car. She said she couldn't even drive. She bought it was a used car, $200. She bought a car, drove it home, grabbed the kids, threw some stuff in the car and took off, and they've been on their own ever since. She's very happy.
Well, when you're
I could not believe it.
When you're in that situation, you have to have a safety plan. You have to know what you're going to do. And it's okay for you to take things to a friend's house, food, clothes, or something like that. So when you make that move, you do have something.
She didn't have any friends. Like, he didn't allow her to have friends. And so she said it took more than a year to save enough money to get this car. But that's the only thing she could think of.
Wow.
She even got a car and she gave her own freedom.
Wow.
Bam.
Wow.
That's like, wow. Now the other organization, North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence, I've heard of that one. What do they do? What do you do with them?
They're the same as DCRC, as a matter of fact. That's for the whole state of North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, that's for the whole state of North Carolina. So wherever you are in North Carolina, if you call them, they will tell you what organization that will support you. So if I was if I had known about them, they would have told me about them or DCRC.
Right. Okay. So they would tell you to contact the Durham Crisis Response.
Or you can contact them themselves.
I think I'll put their 800. I'm sure they have a toll-free number.
Oh, yes.
So I'll put it in the description of this show. Okay. So the Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent Durham. I've heard of them too.
Yes. Love that group. It's a group of people that meet once a month, and we talk about things in the community. We share information, resources, so that we can take them back to our communities or even our churches. And so Marsha Owens is the executive director, and we meet over on at Shepherd's House.
It's on our Driver.
Yes, over on Driver Street, and it's a wonderful place to go to get information. We just had a meeting. Our last meeting, we had Attorney Scott Holmes there, and we're talking about restorative justice here in the city of Durham. And he's putting together a group of people that want to go through the training. I've been through that training through Spirit House.
Awesome.
And so, we're really trying to make a difference. We need to be some movers and shakers here in Durham,
Tell us, I know what it is, but pretend like I don't know what it is, and explain what restorative justice is. I think it's very exciting.
Restorative justice is like we're trying to put in another plan so that people, especially young people, when they get into this trouble, that there's another plan for them where we can go to the district attorney's office and discuss with them alternatives to see how we can go about making a difference. So we'll meet with what I like about it is being able to meet with you if you is the person that I've harmed, and we have a circle. It's a circle where we would talk about what happened. And another part I like about it is that you don't get to say anything until after everybody's talking, because you don't really realize the harm that you've caused because you've done the harm, but everybody in this circle you've brought harm to. So we're trying to make sure that, for the lesser crimes, that they don't have to serve any jail time.
Okay.
And I think that's wonderful.
I think it's cool because the emphasis isn't on punishment.
Right.
But I mean, I guess suppose you killed someone or stole something or whatever, you've done something wrong here, and that's why you're in jail. But some people, the way they're thinking, I'm in jail because I got caught. I didn't really mean it, but I got caught. Right. But they honestly don't know. Like, for example, maybe the person they killed, now their kid doesn't have a mom. How's the kid going to get to school? Now the kid has to move in with somebody. The child is traumatized. And all he's thinking is, I shot somebody and, and now I got to go to jail. Right. So he really gets to learn, or she gets to learn all the damage that has resulted from that one act.
That's right. And I think that's so important, because I was in a circle where a young man broke into church. And we did a circle with him, and it just to see him, the people sitting around and everybody's going through the process, he just didn't know what to say. Really, he just
Did you tell that he was feeling anything? I mean, sometimes, like when I see court cases and the guy, they're told to stand and face the judge, and he says guilty, and very often they stand there like, so are they that way? And when they're taking part in these circles?
Well, they're giving facial expressions, about like, you harmed me because I trusted you, I love you, I was a part of your family, outside of your family. Why would you do that to me? And so they're sitting there like, I don't know what to say, because they wouldn't think that they have done that to me. Does that make sense to you? They wouldn't think that they did that to you. And then for you to hurt your grandmother or your aunt or something like that. So it's really bringing them to the reality of, yes, you're going to have to hear this. You may not want to hear it outside of the circle, but it's a controlled circle. So you're going to have to sit there and hear it.
Okay, so now after they've sat there and listened to all this, they don't have to go to jail?
We will present the plan that we talked about. We discussed something, and if the district attorney approves of it, then it's okay. You may not have to serve any time.
But he has to do something, right?
He would have to do something, because the victim would be a part of this. Okay. And I know that one case I've listened to, the young man broke into the house, so he had to go do some community service with them. He had to keep up with the victim. They wanted to be a part of his life. So he had to make himself really visible.
That makes the victim has to change too, because they have to not only put up with this person, but they have to treat him. I'm going to put it. I'd be mad at somebody that broke in my house.
Yeah, but see, you get a part of restoring them so that they will not do it again. So you are a positive part of the process. Okay. Although they victimized you, so they are still accountable to you. And so when we come up with this plan, I'm still going to be a part of that. Okay. So because it sounds like the victim is going to go through some changes too. Yeah, if they want to see this person change. That's why it's called restorative justice. That's why. If they want to see this person change, then yes, they'd be willing to be a part of it.
Okay, now what if I can see this really working if this is a cousin or a nephew or a kid that you helped bring up from down the street. But what if it's just some random guy, some random person doesn't really care about you at all, and he just wanted your purse, or he just killed your loved one, but he didn't even know you or him anyway.
Well, see, that's
just like one of his shoes or something.
And see, that's what we're trying to keep them from going to jail for, because they may get, if it's a misdemeanor or something like that, they still can get a whole lot of time. Yeah. But we don't want them to get time. We want you to do something for what you've done.
But how do you make him care? So I can see a guy almost crying. Like if it's the grandson and he broke into the grandma's house, stole the car, whatever, I can see him crying if the grandmother in part of the circle is saying, "You really hurt me. I couldn't go get my medicine. You messed up my car, and I can't trust you." I can see him crying. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about maybe a guy, maybe even from a whole different neighborhood. He just didn't even know me and killed my husband or whatever, stole it. You know what I mean? Didn't even care about me anyway. How could I and he worked together to change him if we had no connection in the first place?
It's a process. We have to, if we got a case or situation, we have to look at it. Then we would have to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Then we'd have to talk to them, the person that did it. If they don't want to do it, we can't do it.
Oh, yeah, he might not even care enough to even
want to do it. That's right. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So he has a choice.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
So I'm praying that will work. I'm praying that more people will get, involved and want to learn how to do these circles. Even with Religious Coalition, they have a faith circle. Um, they try to, when people come out of being incarcerated, they may come to a meeting, so they will just grab onto this person. And once they build a rapport, they will create a faith team around this person. Because
Is that the Circles of Hope?
well,
Is that the one?
there's circles of hope, but this is just within the Religious Coalition. We take people out of various churches or faith.
Okay.
And so we will meet with them, talk to them, have conversations with them, get to know them. And then at some point in time, once we feel that that person is really serious about changing their life, then once they go out to try to get employment, then the faith team will speak on their behalf also.
That could work.
And it has worked, because I went to a meeting one time and there was a gentleman that stood up there and talked to us about the faith team that he had. He said, I wouldn't have even hired me.
Wow. Wow.
I wouldn't have. And then the business said, I want to meet this man because we have had so many phone calls about him.
Wow.
They said, we wanted to see who you were.
So he got straightened out and a job.
He sure did. And he was a supervisor.
Whoa. Okay.
He sure was.
So you want people to get involved with these organizations, I bet.
I do.
So I'll give their contact information. I won't trouble you to give us that. I will provide it. So the name of these three organizations that you're involved with: Durham Crisis Response Center, the North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and the Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent Durham.
Right.
It's a lot of good work going on in one city.
It is. And just to say that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So that's coming up. And so there will be some events going on.
And we should mention that now this is airing live on, this is September 6th. Next week is the Day of Forgiveness, right?
Yes, it is.
Next Sunday, September 13th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've got the Mayor Bill Bell has issued a proclamation for September the 13th proclaiming that as a Day of Forgiveness.
Okay.
And what I've asked people to do, I have been sending out letters to as many churches and pastors as possible to acknowledge that day within their congregation. Singing, whatever they want to do, but just mention, yes, today is Forgiveness Day, and our mayor recognizes this day. And then there's going to be a program at Northside Baptist Church at 4:00 on that afternoon, where we're all coming together. Anybody in the city of Durham that wants to come and worship with us, we're going to have song and we'll skit, mime, word, just some wonderful time.
And would you say that would be a good day? Because sometimes forgiveness really holds you back. I mean, not forgiveness, the lack of forgiveness. It kind of hangs over you. If someone has really done you wrong. So maybe that's a good day to really think about seeing if you might want to consider forgiving the person that really hurt you. And it doesn't have to be someone who committed murder. It could be something as easy as, I shouldn't say easy, as little as, I don't know, maybe your brother hit you upside the head, made you really mad, and you're not speaking to him right now.
Right.
And maybe you can forgive him for that and say, let's move on. I have seen siblings, actually a friend of mine was in a situation where she was not speaking to her brother. And both as adults, this is not a childhood thing. And for whatever reason, she was not on speaking terms with her brother. And I told her, now my brother died at age 21. I said, I would give almost anything, to get my brother back. And then she thought about it. And they're getting along really well now.
That's awesome.
Because sometimes you don't really realize how much you're losing when you shut yourself off from other people?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's one thing about forgiveness. That day, I am going to ask people, and that's why I ask you now, to think about someone in your life that you're unable to forgive, and really think about why you can't forgive them. And on that particular day, I am going to do something. Uh, haven't quite figured out, but I know that I'm going to pass out a card or something and ask you to write down what it is that you're holding in your heart. And we're going to get rid of that. On that
tear it up and let it go.
Let it go.
Love it. Love it.
It's gonna be. We got to let it go. We cannot keep holding on to that.
There's two more points I want to ask you about forgiveness.
Okay.
And that is sometimes, now I heard about this on the radio. It was one of those psychiatrists or psychologists, radio people giving advice. And this person was at a standstill because this person had done someone wrong, and this person had done something wrong in return. So they were like at odds. And so the psychologist or psychiatrist, I get it mixed up, said, well, why don't you be the bigger person and apologize first? And the person said, well, and the person called back later and said it was the best thing he ever did. So forgiveness can involve apologizing. If you were the person, because sometimes why you're not speaking with someone, because you're the person who did something wrong. So do you think people should also consider having the heart to step forward and say, I know I messed up, let's hug it out or something?
Yeah. Even when people change towards you and you have no idea, why are you treating me different?
Yeah.
You should be able to go to them and say, if I've done anything,
that's a good one.
If I've harmed you, please forgive me. Because sometimes we do things unknowingly that may have offended somebody, and they take it to heart.
Right. And you didn't even know.
And didn't even know. So you got to ask them to forgive you. You may not have done anything, but if you feel that, yeah, go to them. And see, it's better than you sitting there wondering, like, what did I do?
I saw that in a Disney movie. There were these two kids. One kid hated the other. The other one honestly didn't know, and asked the other kid, "Why do you hate me?" And the person just told the whole story. And the other kid was like, I had no idea. She had stolen the other kid's best friend. Not stolen, but it's a big deal when you're a little kid, your best friend.
Yeah.
So she had made friends with the other kid's best friend, and they became best friends.
Yeah, so we do things. Sometimes we just don't know.
Honestly don't know.
And once you find out, you feel better.
Yeah.
Because you no longer wonder, well, I'm glad I got that off my mind. Because now I know. I feel so much better.
Right.
But I want your audience to know that also we are very aware that there is still people that are not at the forgiving stage in their lives, because...
And that doesn't make them a bad person.
It doesn't make them a bad person at all. But it's just something for us to let you know that, forgiveness is something for you to think about. But we respect that everybody's not there. And so many people...
What does it take to get there?
You have to... I always say atonement. Check yourself. Always look deep within yourself, your spirit, because one day, and we have to get out of this thinking that, oh, this can't happen to me, this cannot happen to my family, this can't happen to my friend. So we have to get past the, that maybe one day I have to ask somebody to forgive me.
Yeah.
That's serious. That's deep.
That's huge.
Yeah, but we don't think like that. Because first we think we can't, that cannot happen to us, and can't believe this happened to us. But When we change our train of thoughts and say, okay, anything is possible in our lives, and then try to walk in that person's shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, just try to walk in that person's shoes. And that's the way I think. I say, you know what? I may have to ask somebody to forgive me. And just like we were talking about, I may have hurt you and don't even know it, you know. So, you know, those are things that we have to be mindful.
Now, the second thing I wanted to, and the final thing about forgiveness, you mentioned it during our phone conversation, and I didn't relate to it because I don't know anyone in this position. But you said, in talking about a case where one person had hurt the other terribly, that the person who had done the wrong could not forgive himself. And I guess I don't really understand. If you could explain that. And it's about this guy. I think he tried to kill this other guy. The guy forgave him.
The story.
Yeah.
Oh,
but, yeah. And that is the story of Rich and Artie, which we'll learn about later in the Durham Skywriter next month. But the guy who was forgiven, who had tried to kill the other guy, could not forgive himself. And I'd just like you to explain that.
Yeah. I don't really want, if I get into that, that would tell a little bit more of the story.
Well, you could just talk generally about it. I just wanted to, I just mentioned the Rich and Artie story.
Okay.
The concept, I just wanted you to address the concept. I don't have to talk about the actual case.
Okay.
Of a person not forgiving, being able to forgive himself.
Because you do something wrong, that is another part, like I was saying about unforgiveness. Although people offer you that or give you that, you can't forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because see, it's like, why are you forgiving me? And I did something so horrible.
Yeah.
So you've got to, like I said, reach down within yourself and begin to deal with what's going on within yourself and ask yourself questions, why I can't forgive myself. Someone else has.
Maybe maybe this person feels that he's not worthy because he's always been a bad person, and maybe he just needs to just realize that there's good in everyone.
There's good, and that's where if I have talked with several people about the power of forgiveness, and I've asked them, since you've forgiven, do you work with them? And so, yes, there's some people that has gone back and worked with the person that harmed them.
Wow.
And so now they're best of friends.
That is so wild.
It is awesome. It is awesome. And I will ask that question. And see, that's where the unforgiving of self comes in, when you are willing to go back and help that person. Yes, there's several people out there that I've already talked to that has done that.
You didn't mention your radio show, The Power of Forgiveness. You have a radio show called The Power of Forgiveness.
Yes, it's The Power of Forgiveness. It's a Blogtalk radio show we do every Thursday night. It comes out of Cleveland, Ohio. Mr. Joe Cooper is the person that the Lord spoke to about the power of forgiveness. So he's brought all of us into this vision.
Nice.
And it starts from 7 to 9. People call in, give their testimonies, and we have conversations about it. And it's really a blessed show. And some of these testimonies are amazing.
Oh, bet.
They are amazing.
I can't wait to listen to it. You said Thursdays, 7 to 9 Eastern Time.
Eastern Time.
Okay.
Yes.
So you listen to it by calling a number? Is that how it works?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Is this the correct number here? 516?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. So the way Blog Talk Radio works, so you dial in at, I'll just give a number now if you just want to jot it down. 516-418-5558. So you're able to listen to it, I guess, over your phone.
Over your phone or the computer.
Oh, that's even better. And you can move around. You don't have to sit here for 2 hours like this. Okay. So it's better to dial with your computer. And that's 516-418-5558. The Power of Forgiveness radio show.
Yes.
Anything else you wanted to tell our wonderful audience before we go?
Well, I just want everybody to be conscious that Forgiveness Day is September 13th. And, forgiveness is something that we, to get in your mind, just think about, let it resonate in your spirit. Sometimes we have to begin to think about the other person too, because we may be in that situation that we may need to be forgiven. And I thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk about the forgiveness and everything about what I do in the community. It's not about me, it's about the community. Trying to make a difference in the community in any way that I can.
Well, thank you. This concept of forgiveness is something you really don't encounter very much. I mean, it's deep and it's powerful, but I don't think people have talked about it that much.
No, they haven't.
And when you encounter people, like with this Charleston murder, I mean, it just blew me away. It blew a lot of people away. And some people were mad and said, well, I don't forgive them, but that's another concept of forgiveness. From what I understand, to forgive, you have to be directly involved. Because I saw people on Facebook saying, well, I don't think they should have forgiven him, or I don't forgive him. But that's not
for them to do.
Yeah. So it's very deep.
But if they think about it though, they could say, that might be my family member. See, that's why I say our thinking has to be different. Like this, and I couldn't do it. Well, you don't know what you could do. Because you want somebody to love your family, your family member. You would want somebody to forgive your family member if that happened to you.
Yeah. And if you think about it from both ends, if you could imagine being related to someone who was killed, but imagine, we haven't looked at it from the other point of view, people who might have been related to the young man who killed those people. That's something for them to think about as well. So, wow, it's deep.
It is.
Hope you enjoyed that, folks. So that was TV Skywriter, our guest Annette Love. If people want to get in contact with you, would you rather they just get in contact with the organizations, or do you do any personal ministry regarding, forgiveness? And
I do personal. They can call me. My number.
I'll leave the number on the description of the show.
Okay.
Okay, folks. So read Durham Skywriter, Durham's online community paper, durhamskywriter.com. Follow me on Facebook. I use my real name as I do with my YouTube channel, Patricia A. Murray. I think for Facebook I added DNC for Durham, North Carolina. So Patricia A. Murray DNC for Facebook. Also Twitter, Durham Skywriter. I don't know if you know about Periscope, but I just joined or downloaded Periscope, an incredible live streaming app. So follow me on Durham Skywriter on that as well. With that, bid you adieu. Have a great time, folks. See you next week.